Whatever you choose to do right now and however you choose to react to crypto right now will define the rest of your life. Now, I know that sounds incredible, but there is some elements of this that I need to speak to you about today. So let me explain. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a suit, I have just come back from a funeral. It was my auntie's funeral, so it's been a bit of a sad day. But this is all interlinked into what this video is, right? So funerals, being present in that moment, seeing the sorrow and the sadness and the unsaid things, the sense of utter and total loss. You look around and you see each and every person hurting in their own way and remembering her in their own way. And you look and see the pain and devastation on your family's faces. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you have been to a funeral. I mean, hopefully some of you haven't. If you haven't, then that's fantastic. But I know a lot of you probably will have lost someone. And it is kind of important. So what you do in life, it literally echoes in eternity. And it's mad. It is crazy, right? Now, you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with crypto? And it's a very valid question. I understand why you'd probably be thinking that. Well, when you reflect, and often we do at times of great sorrow, we often look back and we often do, reflect on life. You start to really think deeply about your life and you begin to think, if it all ended now, what would my legacy be? And I'm sure you all probably feel the same when you've had these situations, right? Now, I know you all have a dream, and that dream begins with crypto and the money you can make from it. The money isn't the end goal, though. The freedom that money brings is. And I think we often get lost when we talk about how much a coin is going to price wise and how many X's this coin will hit, etc., etc. Now, when you're in a place where other people are and you can kind of feel that mood, you can be in a bar and you be sitting there and a different atmosphere will come across the place because you know something's about to go off. Or you can be like at a funeral and you can feel everyone's emotions. I think it's human nature. We have this sixth sense to pick up on emotions. I think it probably goes back to being, maybe cavemen or cave women where you had these gut instincts. Well, that's exactly what it's like in echo chambers in crypto. You can either watch things or read things that support your feeling, or do the same things that don't support your feeling, and how you feel will be linked almost directly to what you're consuming. Now, I know you've probably felt this. Now, think of this. When there is a very red day, a lot of people feel it in the pit of their stomachs. The fear, the panic, the uncertainty, and the more people talk about it, the more fearful you get until it snowballs and you panic sell. Does that feel familiar? When you're scrolling through Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, you're scrolling through and you're seeing negative post after negative post, and it becomes that rolling snowball. You go on YouTube, let me see what YouTube is saying. And again, this fear, this panic, and it's rolling and rolling and rolling. And it becomes almost like overwhelming. You're like, oh, I better sell because what if it's too late? What if it's going to go down even lower? All of these different emotions, right? Now, during this phase, you'll either see the blood that's in the streets and you'll either see fear and absolute panic, or you'll see people screaming, buy the dip, you'll never see these prices again. And then, a couple of months later, you do see those prices again, because it's not always about, you're not going to always get the bottom. You're not always going to time the bottom the same way as you're not always going to time the top. So you'll hear people screaming who are holding onto their bags and things like that. I'm holding on to mine. I haven't sold a thing. Haven't took any profits, though, as well. So it depends how you want to do this. Everyone's journey is their journey, right? But does that sound familiar as well? If you've answered yes to either of those questions, you might be wondering how to combat these emotions. And I've spoken about the huge importance about controlling your emotions before, and it is absolutely key. Controlling your emotions is going to be the most useful tool in your crypto toolbox, especially when it comes to times of real despair and times of real euphoria. When you take emotion out of it, you can look at things a lot more rationally. Now, I've shown you this before, but this exists for a reason. Fear and greed index, the two trigger emotions of the entire crypto space, in money in general. But these two, fear and greed, are so important. They wouldn't have an index for it if it didn't have an importance, a significance. So right now we're at 51%. We're in neutral territory. That's good. That's good. People are fearful. People are not even fearful now. They're getting close to fearful. But the sentiment. You've probably been around and you've looked through Twitter. You've looked through YouTube. You know the sentiment. The sentiment is a bit negative right now, right? Look at Bitcoin a month ago and tell me how different it feels. So if we look at Bitcoin's price right now, okay? So right now it's at $41,288. So if we go back to, where should we go back to? The 12th of December, Bitcoin was at 41,301. Now, how many people were buzzing off that? How many people were like, yes, the This is great news. The 41,300. Great. This is great. It's now at 41,288. The difference is $12. Yeah, everyone's going, oh my God, it's all going to go to shit. Bitcoin's going to zero. Do you see that? That's $12. The difference there is $12. And that's, or $13 if you want to count the 01. But, because there'll be someone in the comments going, actually, it's $13. I know. Okay, I know. But look, do you see how irrational it is to be overly fearful? And sometimes how irrational it is to be over euphoric. It's very similar, right? We're very close. But it's just different interpretations. It's how you look at something. And I think it's just incredible to see the difference. So, in my opinion, red days are opportunities and absolutely not days to be panicking and fearful. That's in my opinion. Obviously, nothing in these videos or anything on the channel is financial advice, but it's more a mindset situation, right? That's why that's what they want you to do. They want you to be panicking, like the big market makers, your BlackRocks and all the people who are in that elite upper echelon tier of people who run the world. They want you panicking and fearful. When you're panicking and fearful, you're irrational. You're easily led then. And I think that's the problem, right? Look at this. This is Warren Buffett, allegedly or arguably one of the greatest investors of modern times. He says, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful, which is essentially when everyone is frightened and they're like, oh my God, everything's going bad. That's when you go and pick up all of your bits and pieces. You make your purchases. When everyone's going, it's up only. Bitcoin's at $110,000, for instance. It's going to go 150. It's definitely going to 150, and then it doesn't. We had this in 2021. We all went through this in 2021, or most of us did, but some of us who are watching this, maybe this is your first rodeo. These are the times. So when that's the time, when everyone's crying how great it is, and this is the best thing since sliced bread, everything's going to be fantastic, then that's the time to sell, right? Before it just crashes, which it did after the 69K back in 2021, right? I want you all to do so well this bull run. And I wish last bull run I had these videos to watch, as I know I wouldn't have got wrecked like I did in 2021. I'm just a guy. I work in a hospital. I study and research in all my spare time. I'm just documenting my journey and hoping that it'll make a difference to people's lives. I don't do sponsorships. And when I tell you I'm buying a project, I am buying that project and I have skin in the game. I'm not going to name names of channels, etc. But I fell for a few scams in the 2021 bull run. Some of them weren't scams. Some of them were just sponsored rug pulls and things like that. But it's still disastrous, right? I was watching YouTubers who are sponsored by shitcoins, and a lot of them are still there making the same videos now with new sponsorships. And again, I'm not going to name names because it's just you have to figure these things out. And I can't be slating other YouTubers because it's not I'm not the kind of guy I want to be, right? That doesn't resonate with me at all. I'm eternally grateful to each and every one of my subscribers who are here with me, and we're sharing each other's journeys together. And I think that's important. I want to see the comment section filled with all your stories of life-changing gains when we're in 2025. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait to read them. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm looking forward to that time where we can rejoice. Let's take a look at the markets and see are things really as bad as they seem when you really look at it and see the red as an opportunity. So let's have a look at Trias, for instance. Again, it's at $10.64 right now. Now, people are furious. Like, oh my God, this is horrendous. But we were buying back at $3, sometimes as low as $2. We were buying here. So we're up. Why would you panic sell at 10? It doesn't make sense. Yes, we got to I think we hit sort of 17-ish, didn't we? 15, 16. And now it's come down again. But it's not down here anymore. Do you see how the fear can kick in regardless of what project that you're in? Let's have a look at, say, FanX as an example, because these are lower caps, so these tend to fall harder during these quick spins to the downside. But again, look, it's not terrible. We were buying down here. Yeah, it went up there. That's great. And people, maybe they should have took profits. Maybe they shouldn't. I didn't, and I won't, because these are long-term holds. If you're a trader, that's absolutely fine. You do however you want. Also, just touching on Trias as well. I had someone in the comments going, "Stop calling it Trias. It's Trias." I'm like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. I've been calling it Trias for nearly 4 years. 4 years. It's hard to break a habit like that. he took offense to it, like he would if someone misnamed his child, said the wrong word to his child. Look, if Trias gets to $1,000 a token, I'm going to call it a sexy bastard, let alone Trias. So it doesn't really matter so much about the names. The guy who told me about Bitensor, he said stop saying bit, like I used to say it like dinosaur, so Bitensor. He said like call it Bitensor. It's this is how it's pronounced. He came about it in a really like polite way, a really pleasant way, and I was like, okay, fair enough. I'll definitely attempt to adapt that. And I think sometimes it's easy just to call it Tau. So I've just started calling it Tau now. But that's another one. We'll have a look at that. So yeah, again, over 24 hours, a lot of red. It's a red day. It's not this end of the world. But look, people are fearful here now, but they weren't fearful here. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I just want everyone to do really well. I don't like it when people are fearful and scared and panicking, and I understand why people are. But ultimately, we're in this together. It's a long journey ahead of us. It's short in terms of our time, but this is the thing that I want to reflect on the most is today I was at a funeral, as you know. That's it. That's the end. That, where will we be at that point when it's our turn to be at the end? I want to look back and see that good things came. Now, I'm not saying you need money to have good things in life in terms of how you approach things, but to have freedom, ultimate freedom, I think you need to have that funds to do that. And when you have ultimate freedom, I think that'll be the greatest gift we ever have. And it'll be something that we can really, really cherish and hopefully give our future generations things to cherish. When you go to a funeral and when you see the end result of life, you do start to question, what are we doing here? It becomes like an existential crisis. Can't think of the word now, but it's like a crisis of conscience. And you start to think, well, is this really worth it? What should I be doing? Now, I know I'm on the path that I need to be on, and I'm happy to be on that path. And I want to make sure that when we're here together in 2025, we have these conversations again, that we did it, we achieved it. And I believe we can do that together. So once again, I'm eternally grateful to every single person who's subscribed, who's ever commented on the channel, good and bad, whoever's liked the channel, whoever's viewed the video, even one view, it means so much. So I really do appreciate it. And hopefully, if you're new to the channel, you've not seen my channel before, please flick back through a few of the other videos, see what you think. And if you do, if I resonate with you in some way, then please smash the subscribe button. It really does. I really do appreciate it. We're over 3,300 now. My ultimate goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers, but let's hit 4 first before we start worrying about that, right? If you did enjoy this video, please smash the like button. I always appreciate when you guys do that. And wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, please have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.